Yes.
That was the last program.
Back February, I think it was 2009, I met Dr. Shelwood here. His guardian gave support for the talk about this stimulus bill. I met with him afterwards, and I was standing right there, and I asked him what his position was on parental rights. And he said he has 4 parental rights, but he wanted to indicate something about registration. He thought he had the oversight, federal oversight. The Congress, there's a group putting before Congress a bill that would amend the Constitution to define parental rights. There is a group.
Pete Hoekstra is a prime sponsor.
Okay, very good. There is a group that is working with the UN to try to get the rights of the child, the CRC, through the Senate, and that is in the works in the background. And I was wondering what your position would be on the parental rights. It's a 2-line bill that defines the parent-child relationship, defines that the government is to stay out of that relationship, especially the federal government. I wonder what your position would be on that bill and on that parental rights in general and the UN treaty.
I would have been, had I been there, I would have been an original co-sponsor of that bill. I believe in parental rights. I believe that children are a gift of God, and the parents are the responsible entities for that, and only in certain circumstances, or let me say that's a better way, only a limited number of parents do not do right by their children. You hear what I'm saying there? I don't believe that the majority of parents have anything but the best intentions for their kids. And I don't believe that the majority of parents, I don't believe that but a limited number of parents actually do harm to their kids, whether I agree with exactly how they raise them or not. Those are still their children. And when we break down the authority of the family, the authority of the home, the authority of the parents in primacy, we have real problems, because then the kids take over control. Now that's not to say I would countenance child abuse under the guise of discipline or punishment. No. But I don't think the majority of parents abuse their kids. And for the bill that is attempted to go through under the auspices of globalization and the United Nations policy, overtaking our own laws and having primacy, that is a wrong direction to go. And I would oppose it to the wall. Whereas we ought to be spending time back in our communities, supporting parents who are doing their level best to train their kids, to foster good behavior in them, respect for the law, respect for school teachers, respect for authority, respect for common decency, as opposed to trying to, for all intents and purposes, outlaw good morals, religious and otherwise, and try to portray an image that if you are a religious person, you are a bigot, you are closed-minded, and you ought to be watched for as if you're an enemy. And I think the UN issue is going that direction in saying we ought to have an innate distrust of how parents take care of their kids. That's not where I come down. Tom?
Yeah, Congress and the Senate, when they pass a piece of legislation, typically they exempt themselves from implementation, in other words, enforcement. How do you stand on that? Do you support a constitutional amendment to force Congress to have to live under the bills they pass?
Well, I would tell you that Congress does live under almost every law. In fact, even in the health care bill, which came as a result of the people's outcry. But they put themselves under that. They didn't put the White House or the executive department under it. And somehow they made a mistake and they left the Senate committee staff out of it. That's sausage of politics. But as a member of Congress, I came under Social Security. My pension was a 401k. So there are a lot of urban legend out there about what we are immune from. I was immune from certain laws, including speed limit. I could drive down the wrong side of the street going to a vote. And
That's in the Constitution.
That's a scary process. I can tell you that.
That's in
no
the
matter what
Constitution.
yeah. And so that allows us to do that. But other than that, we generally come under the same laws. And it ought to be. It ought to be that way.